Like just about every other musician in the world this past year, I've been doing a lot more recording from home, which means I've tried out all sorts of different ways of getting a decent sound with the electric guitar in a small space, somewhere I can't make loads of noise. I've tried miking up my little Fender 15-watt valve amp, and that sounds okay, but even that, I can't really get it to the volume where you're getting the very best from it. So one solution has been to use a plugin, Record Direct, use the plugin to provide the amp and the cab and maybe some effects. And one of my favourites that I've come across so far has been the Neural DSP Archetype Cory Wong plugin. So I'm going to quickly take through some of the things I like about it and show you a few of my favourite settings. So this plugin was created by Neural DSP for funk guitarist Cory Wong. So you might think it's just going to give us compressed clean tones and sort of nice funky strat stuff, but actually it's amazingly versatile. Let's have a look at what you get within just this one plugin. So we have 3 amps. First one is called the DI Funk Console, so that's, as you would expect, that's kind of nice clean. We've got the Clean Machine, which actually also gives you a good bluesy crunch if you turn that volume up, get the preamp distorting. And then we've got the amp snob, so this one gives us an option of a drive channel and a bright switch. And then we've got the 3 corresponding cabs, and we can unlink so that we can try out different combinations. It's quite an interesting thing, that trying out different combinations of the amp head with a different cabinet. And then pedals, we've got a wah-wah pedal, which we can use as an auto-wah, or if I had a MIDI expression pedal I could use that to control it, or we can do something else which I'll show you later on. And then stomp pedals, we get this envelope filter, which I'll tell you more about later on. We've got the compressor, important of course, 4th position being Cory Wong's favourite pickup selector, position 4. We've got a couple of overdrive pedals. No prizes for guessing what the green one is supposed to represent. We've got EQ, and we've got 6 different microphones to choose from. We can do the usual sort of thing. If you're familiar with this kind of VST thing, we can drag the mic around and change the position, off axis, make it further away, closer to the speaker, that sort of thing. And we can create stereo tones by having 2 microphones, and then there's full control over the panning of each, so you can get one coming out of one speaker and one coming out the other. And then finally we've got a nice delay unit which does stereo, and we've got a reverb which gives us a lovely shimmer effect, which maybe I'll show you later on as well. So all of that within one plugin. This is a full rig. This was an unexpected bonus of using one of these plugins, or any plugin like this really, is the fact that you're not stuck with the tones that you record with. So obviously when you're recording and tracking stuff, you want to dial in a tone that you're happy with, but you're not stuck with it in the way that you would be when you're miking up an amp. Obviously then you can tweak EQ and things like that afterwards, but with this you have complete flexibility over that. Essentially what the computer has recorded is just the dry signal from the guitar, so you can completely change the tone later on if you want to. When it comes to mixing, you can really tweak the amp settings to make it fit in. Maybe it sounded okay when you tracked it, but now there's these other instruments in and you want to really sculpt it to fit in with those, and that's been really useful. This was actually the reason I decided to try out this plugin in the first place, because I was working on a project which is coming out soon, by the way, subscribe if you don't already, and I needed an envelope filter I didn't have anything I was happy with sort of multi-effects units and things that I have, and I knew that this plugin had one, and it sounds completely outrageous. It's the most ridiculous sort of quacking tone and exactly what I needed for that project. So I mean, here's an example. Crazy. If you follow Cory Wong on social media at all, you probably would have seen that he plays a mean bit of bass as well as guitar, and this plugin is clearly designed with that in mind, because you can get good bass amp sounds for recording direct as well. I mean, let's have a look. If we go to the presets, into Factory, Cory Wong, and then there's bass tones. So we've got 4 different bass presets which you can tweak to your liking. Adds to the flexibility. I mean, that's, you know, we're getting 3 amps, 4 pedals, a wah-wah, EQ, 6 microphones, 3 cabinets, reverb delay, and we can use it for bass as well as guitar. I mean, what else are we going to need? I think presets on these kind of things tend to have a bad reputation as being not that great, but couldn't be further from the truth of this plugin. It's got some great presets, helped by the fact that we've got, you know, top artists that have contributed. So we've got Jack Gardner, Rabea Massad, Tom Quayle. Those guys know exactly what they're doing with this kind of stuff, so you can rely on it being in decent settings. And then we've got Cory Wong himself, it's got the bass tones, we've got Cory Wong recordings. So if you're a Cory Wong fan, you'll probably recognize the name of these pieces. And then we've got session sounds, and then we've got even just Neural DSP have contributed their own sort of suggested settings for various things, and then you can make your own as well. Let's have a little look at some of these. So we've got Jack Gardner, full smush lead. Really nice lead tone. Doesn't need much tweaking. And then what else? Rabea. Siren lead weird. Sounds promising. Lovely stuff with these really high quality delay and reverbs. And Tom Quayle, what's he got for us? Filth Bucket. AW meaning Ottawa. Does what it says on the tin. I would use all of those presets if I wanted those tones. Let's have a wee look at Cory Wong himself. So yeah, let's see. Companion pass. Sort of thing you would associate with Cory Wong. Nice dry kind of compressed clean tone, sit really nicely in a mix. So that's just scratching the surface, but really great presets. recording, obviously I've been using this as a plugin on the channel that my guitar goes into in my DAW, but it also works as a standalone app. You can just open up, and if you want to do some practice, then that's probably the easiest thing. Great for using headphones as well if you want to do a bit of a late night practice session, and it sounds really good through the headphones. Neural DSP offer a free 14-day trial on their plugins with no credit card details required. That strikes me as a company that's pretty confident you're going to love their products, and it certainly worked for me. I thought I would just try it out, and I realised it was a useful thing that I wanted to add to my DAW, and I've used it loads for recording ever since. One thing I would say is that it's worth looking around, see if there's any promotional codes you can use. I got mine 50% off because it was a Black Friday sale, but I think they do sales fairly regularly through the year, like a lot of plugin manufacturers do, and I think if you Google promotional codes, there's a good chance you'll find one, so don't pay full whack. I teach guitar for a living, and I can really see the potential for my students and anyone sort of starting out on their guitar journey to learn from a plugin like this, because you can try it and learn the way that a rig works, the way that, you know, if you turn the volume up on the amp, you're going to get closer to that crunch, the way that different pedals will affect that sound, the way that the mic choice and the mic position is going to change the eventual tone that gets into the recording, and the way that EQ can sculpt it within a mix. So I think it's a really useful tool for that, and I'll certainly be pointing some of my students in the direction of this. And if you're sort of starting out, perhaps you've only just got basic equipment and you've never had a chance to really try out loads of pedals and different amps and cabinets, then try this out and see. It's a great way of learning and understanding. Thought I'd finish up the video by showing you a few of my favourite settings from the plugin and things that I've been using for different pieces I've been recording. I'm starting off with a nice lead tone, and I used this for a piece of mine called Onwards, which is on my channel. You can watch it. I used this plugin for all of the electric guitar parts on that recording, and I'll take you through what I've got. So I went for the big amp, the amp snob in drive mode. Got a fair bit of treble here. Crank the master up, bright switch on, but keeping the volume down low because I don't want it too distorted. I want just a bit of overdrive. And then just sticking with the corresponding cabinet. Pedals, got nothing on, but I have got the tuber, so the tube screamer sort of thing, set up as a boost for when I did a solo later on in the track. So you can automate that to come on and just have it on a separate audio track. Not much on the drive, it's just really for boost for more levels, so that's then going to distort the amp more and tone at about 8 or whatever, 7. The EQ, a roll off. This one's not really giving us much anyway, just a kind of a gentle curve. And then I really like using two mics with this, two virtual mics. So I've got a ribbon 121 and a dynamic 57. I've panned them slightly, not dramatically 100% each way, but 0.22 each direction, and then You can see this one's slightly off axis and this one's even more. And that just thickens that, so let me turn that one off. Perfectly nice. Just add something extra, having that extra mic in there. And then final thing, delay. So not much, I don't like too much delay, but it's just in the mix slightly. And really nice sort of dual stereo kind of effect going on. And then of course a bit of reverb. Again, not too much, but with a fairly long decay. So I'll put the link to the video of Onwards and you can have a listen to it in action. So this next one is kind of a development of that previous lead tone that I had. In that same track, towards the end, I wanted a screaming feedback kind of sound. And I thought, surely I can't get this with a plug-in. You know, this is not going to work. I need like an amp, I need it cranked up, I need to get really close to the amp and get that lovely harmonic feedback. But I did find a solution, and it's in the form of the wah-wah pedal. So let me show you what I did. I've got, you know, same kind of amp settings as before. I've got the tube screamer, or tuber, turned on with plenty of drive this time, plenty of tone, so really nice and trebly. And then the wah-wah pedal is active. It isn't on auto wah. I've got the position set almost all the way forward, so very, very trebly and bright. And that just gets this screaming feedback tone, exactly what I was looking for. Other than that, I'll just take through all the other ones. EQ is about the same as before. Mics are about the same as before, and then there's a bit more reverb, just that's what was needed in the mix of the track. But there you go, that's one way if you miss that kind of squealing tone that you can get with a valve amp cranked up, then you can get it with this kind of thing. Just make use of that wah-wah pedal. I think that's called a cocked wah. Here's more of a kind of edge of breakup, clean to overdrive tone. I'm actually using the Clean Machine amp for this one, but cranking that volume up quite far so that we get a bit of crunch. We've got the bright switch on, and then I'm using the cabinet from the DI Funk console rather than from the Clean Machine. I prefer the sound of the cabinet for this particular setting. Nothing going on with pedals, although obviously I could stomp on one of the overdrives if I wanted a bit more boost for a solo. We've got a bit of a curve going on with the EQ. We've got my usual kind of thing with a couple of mics and a bit of panning, and then just a simple bit of reverb, really not too much. Decay isn't very high up, neither is the dry to wet ratio, and it's just a nice kind of valve amp tone. You can clean it up with your volume control as well, you know, roll it off and it'll just clean up that tone. That's just a brief look at the Archetype Cory Wong plugin. I think the debate will continue to rage on the internet as to whether these amp simulators and cab sims sound as good as the real thing. I'm not really going to contribute to that debate in this, but certainly I've found it's a solution for me recording at home that sounds a lot better than I'm getting from my Valve amp at a low volume. So give it a try. If there's any other plugins that you think I should check out, then let me know in the comments below. Subscribe if you don't already, and give us a thumbs up if you've enjoyed the video.